Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Oh, we got a weird feedback in here today. What is that? Do you hear that? I hear it. Anyway, it's just a little weird feedback, but we're still gonna get going. Good
Yeah.
evening, everybody. I pray that you guys are having a great evening. I'll give you a second to come on in, but come on in and let us know where you're tuning in from. My name is Michelle Farrar, and I'm an intern of Prophet Jennifer Eivaz under the Excellence in the Supernatural Online Mentorship. And today I have a special guest with me, my fellow mentee and my friend, LaTasha. Welcome, LaTasha.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jennifer, for being so generous with your platform with us.
Yes, thank you, Prophet Jennifer. We love you and so grateful to be able to be on tonight. You guys come on in. We have a great conversation tonight.
Mhm.
Let us know where you guys are coming in from. Shout out your state. Let's see. I can see. Let's see. We got Washington. I see Native American Reservation. That's dope. Let's see where else. A couple of other ones. Where y'all coming in from? Where you coming from, Tasha?
I am in Lubbock, Texas.
Okay, you're in Lubbock, Texas. I see Mary from Touching His Hem. She's back in Hawaii. We got Los Angeles. I'm here in Southern California in the Duke, San Bernardino. Alabama. So good to have you guys here. Houston. All right. So Australia, yes. All right. All right. So good. Another Australia. So dope. So glad to have you guys with us this
Yeah.
evening. So tonight, you guys, we have a very special conversation. And me and Tasha, we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the excellence in the supernatural online mentorship, but really giving you a peek into some of the things that we deal with in the mentorship. So, tonight we're going to be talking about how pain does not stop the purpose. And so, there might be somebody that may be on, and you've been walking through some tough times. You have experienced some trauma in your life, some really extreme trauma, and it's kind of kept you out. It's kind of kept you from moving into the purpose and the call on your life, because it's a real thing. And that pain brings forth, issues or insecurities and stuff like that. But we just wanted to let you know that the pain does not stop the purpose. So tonight, me and Tasha will share our journey as we walk through our personal traumas in the context of this mentorship. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive in. So Tasha, so good again, my friend, to have you here. Why don't you tell us a quick overview about your testimony?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So I was saved at a pretty young age. I really think maybe between the ages of 6 and 8, and grew up in a home. There were 6 kids, mom and dad, and during I mean, from childhood all the way to teenage years, there was a lot of abuse going on. So got saved, and God is a good God, and I'm enduring all these bad things. Going into adulthood, I still had some struggles, but I loved the Lord. Absolutely loved the Lord and wanted a relationship with Him. I struggled to get close to Him. There was I didn't trust Him, and uh, so going into adulthood, I got married at the age of 33, and I already had a child. I think Anaya was about 4 years old when I got married. Got pregnant with Briston. Got divorced right after Briston was born. Lived the single mom life for years,
Mm.
and was back and forth, in and out of church, in and out of bars, in and out of a whole lot of things I didn't need to be in and out of, and um, started going to church pretty steady. Uh, right around 2019, 2020. And then I just haven't stopped. I haven't looked back, and plugged into this mentorship group, I think in 2020. And I've just stayed the course with it. So that's pretty much it.
Right. So you mentioned how you know growing up that you had some abuse, but you always loved God. Yet as you were getting older and you were pursuing Him, you didn't trust Him. So let's talk about a little bit how some of the things that may have happened have had built up that wall to where it caused you not to trust the Lord.
Yeah, let's do that. So, you know, having a mother not I want to be careful how I do this because I don't want to bring my mom any dishonor. She, they grew up real rough too. So there's just generational things that have happened here. So, as an infant, I wasn't, I was just left in the crib, if you will.
Mm.
So, and then, abused by my father. So, uh, you're told all your life, God is good and he's real strong and he's going to protect you. And as a child, you think, I don't know, my mind worked this way. Like I just thought he was just some big old guy, right? Like big, tall, like Hulk, real big. And he was my protector and he was going to protect me from everything. And everything kept coming at me and I kept getting abused. I kept getting neglected. I kept getting abandoned. And so it was hard to come to somebody. It was hard to go to God and, you know, and build that relationship with him because that was the one, right, that was supposed to protect me all along and was absolutely, you know, I just felt like there was not that protection. But I've since, grown and matured and understand that the same way he's not going to mess with my free will or make me make a decision that I don't want to make, he wasn't going to mess with anybody else's free will, even though that caused me to be a victim of anything. So he was still there. He's still good. He's still God, and understanding that he didn't like those things that were perpetrated on me. It broke his heart, and learning how to ask him what he thought about that and really listening to what he thought about that and what he felt about that. We've built a relationship. There is a trust. He is a good father, and I can go to him as father.
Yeah.
And I can get in his lap and I'm safe there. I can lay my head on his chest and I can have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of him like I used to be.
Yeah, that's so good. You said some good stuff, and we're gonna come. I'm a back up a little bit and work my way through the comment that you had. So my growing up, I wasn't I didn't grow up saved. I grew up aware of the Lord, things like that. Some of my family was saved. My mom was saved. On our deathbed, but we didn't go to church, and she just thought that the whole Christian thing was hypocrites based on the abuse that she experienced, at the hands of people who were saved. And so, when I did get saved, what prevented me from getting saved for a while. Kind of, my story was kind of similar, to you. When experiencing abuse, especially at the hands of someone who should know the Lord, I started to feel as if I could not be saved, as if I was not worth it. Based on some of the things that were said to me over the years. So I always, once I did get saved, I fell madly in love with God, but I always had this thing that I had to earn his love. It was very hard to just, receive the love of God. It always felt like I was in this place of having to earn it, you know. And so fast forward, I'm walking, I'm saved, I'm walking through this relationship with God. And you can tell me if this was your story. You mentioned it because you said you were going to church and stuff, but in and out of everything. The same, I got saved, I was madly in love with God, but it was like I had two lives. So there
Mm.
was one part of me that really really loved him, and this other part of me that was really struggling, with insecurity, feeling unworthy, like I wasn't worth it.
Mm.
Bound, still saved, but still very much bound in sin, still drinking, still doing all these other, like not just drinking, but an alcoholic, struggling with the alcohol. The past was still speaking over
Mhm.
me, even though I was saved. And as the Lord started to call me into this life, into the relationship, I was wrestling, because it was like, how could I be having this call yet I still have these struggles. And so for you, how did was that your story? Because you mentioned being, you loved him, you're going to church, but you're in and out of everything. Were you having any of those struggles?
Oh, 100%.
Hmm.
So, so much so that, you know, I remember multiple times I told the Lord, I know it's wrong and I hate that I do have this, this problem. Was never addicted to alcohol or drugs, although I did do my fair share of them, and probably a few other people's. Um, I had other, sins, and, um, that just, I hated that I was, drawn to certain things, and, would tell the Lord, why? I know that it's wrong. I hate that I do it. Why won't you take that from me?
Hmm.
And that was a struggle, and loving the Lord. And I was actually on the phone with my dad not too long ago. There was a phone call that, he called, and we had a long conversation, and he told me, you can yell at me, you can do whatever you want. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, he told me, I think that, everything that you've done in your life, all the bad, he wants to take credit for the bad, because of the guilt and condemnation, right? I think that that's all my fault, and I need you to punish me. And I said, no, I'm not going to punish you. For the very first time in my life, the verse where Paul talks about the thorn in his side, and I don't know what ever anybody else's thorn is. I just knew that that verse, in that moment, I told my dad, I said, that thing that, this is a testimony that I'm not gonna give it up out of anger. The thing that I do, I don't like the thing that I do. I hate it, and I do it anyway, knowing that I should be doing something else. That thorn in my side is a testimony,
Hmm.
and being able to walk out of some of those things and be free from some of those things over time, I won't take that back.
Yeah.
um that redemptive, those redemptive miracles that, some people just get free in a moment. That's okay. I got to build a relationship. I needed to build that relationship with the Father. I didn't have it with my own. And so there is redemption. It was just over time. So I did struggle with those things, and I was mad at God that he wouldn't take them away, but I didn't understand.
Yeah.
He was doing it one day at a time.
That is so good, because the same thing, like I said, I got saved, and I did have some radical deliverances. There were some things that went like instantly, or there would be I would, be in prayer and then they would go. But there was other things that took time. And the same
Yeah.
thing, I hated that I was fighting with these things, because I loved him and I didn't want to have to deal with them. And I was just like, and it got worse as I started to feel the call up on my life, that not only was I saved, but now he had a purpose to use me for his plan. And so what I started to see happen, and I praise God for it now, it's always hindsight. What I started to see happening is that as the pull for God, and I'm getting called into ministry, I started to see a lot of people um the same, had these major calls and they were operating in ministry, yet the pain of their past was causing destruction to the call, you know? So it was like double life. What we will be doing one thing right here, but like you said, that thorn in the flesh, that thing that you hate to do, just it was just not the pull for that was really, pulling you as soon as you stepped out the pulpit. And so as I got to study the word, I'm like, God, this is just not lining up with who you are, and what it is that you say in your word. There has to be something different. There has to be something different. And I watched And as I watched, and everyone had different issues, different stuff that they were dealing with, but it all was tied to trauma undealt with. It was all tied to things that happened in their past, like you, like me, abuse, neglect. Something happened, but they didn't deal with it. And so the fruit of that was being, brought forth, and it was hindering the call that was on their life. And I was just like, God, I just can't do that. That is just not who you are. But I was seeing people settle, not dealing with it, or really bleeding on the people that they were called to lead. And I just knew that that couldn't be the testimony. And so that was one of the reasons what led me, into mentorship. I have my own testimony, and we won't go in that tonight. But I just knew that there had to be help, and that I would not let what was be, taint what could be. And so for you, what you had this past, you had these struggles. How did you discover Prophet Jennifer?
Really good question. So I go to the worship center in Lubbock, and I'd been there for a little bit, and I think, I don't know if I approached my pastor, if I messaged her. I believe I talked to her in person, Pastor Trish. I asked her. I was at a place where it was time to grow, and I asked her if she had any books that she would recommend, or anything. I just told her, I feel like I need to grow. I'm stuck, and I feel like it's time to make some moves. So she told me about Jennifer Eivaz's books, and she said, that she is actually in one of those books. Jennifer tells a story about her. So grabbed the books. I think I went to Mardell and just cleaned them out. I think I got the only ones that they did have left. God's so good, right? So then I started following her on, I think, YouTube first, and just plugged completely into some of the content on YouTube, and then started following her on Facebook, and started seeing where she's talking about this group, excellence in the supernatural. I'm like, I like the supernatural. I love that. I've grew up in churches where we saw miracles and stuff like that. So I thought, wow, this is different. I'm going to see what it's about. So I got in the group, and I haven't looked back.
Wow, that is so good. Like I said, as I was sharing, for me, like just the desperation of living the two worlds and seeing what it was doing to people who really love God. And the people that I was with, they really loved Him. But
Mm-hmm.
that pain and all that stuff was, destroying them. And so that very thing is what pushed me to find an answer, and I came across Prophet Jennifer, and it was so amazing to the story from that, and being in her, coming to one of the conferences, I received like a radical deliverance. But I knew that I needed more. And then so when she brought up when she decided to start the mentorship, it was like, this is a no-brainer. So why mentorship for you?
Oh, wow. Good question. So, you know, I've sat under good leadership at church. I mean, I have the best pastors. Uh, while listening to all of the stuff I listen to on YouTube of hers, there's she has this unique ability to just break it down, and not because not dumb it down. She has this ability. She has this incredible gift of communication. So I'm listening to what she's saying, and I'm like, oh wow, things just started clicking, right? They started making sense. So um I stayed in, and uh so getting in there, getting into the group, and just really plugging in, it just um So I got in the group, and so for the first year, I just was kind of quiet. I didn't say a whole lot. I didn't comment a whole lot. I read a whole lot, and I got a little bit comfortable. Started watching how people are talking about things that have really that their heartbreaks, and I'm like, wow, this is the safe place, So I just started kind of opening up myself and just really plugged into the group. Like started getting active in the group, and that's I think that's about it.
Yeah. That's so good. The community is very extremely supportive. And you said that, I loved how you talked about not trusting God, to walking through the
Mm.
process, and how He's your Father, and you realize how He feels about it and how He was hurt. But that, a lot of times we get to that point, but people don't understand. They hear our testimony in that, but they don't understand that there's a process in between to get from A to B. So, since being in a group, how has it been for you to walk through your healing journey and still on the journey? But how has the group helped you in any way, being in mentorship, walk to get from, knowing, okay, I can't trust you, to now saying, you know what, he felt sad about that, and being in a place to now where you're trusting God and talking to Him and stuff. How has the mentorship helped you with that process?
Wow, that's a really good question. So I believe one of the most impactful things that I learned, and I think it was in the first year that I was in, Jennifer was talking about altar calls and about forgiveness. So, you know, uh, I've gone to regular, worldly counsel. And I say worldly, not that they're not beneficial, but there was no healing in this. And talked about the abuses and everything, and have gone to altars and talked about tried to talk about the pain that was still there from the abuse, and even talked to um uh leaders, mentors, other people in my life. And a common phrase was, if you forgive them, it wouldn't hurt. And I always thought something was wrong with my heart. That because I'm still hurting, that I didn't forgive them,
Yeah,
and now I'm going to go to hell.
yeah,
I mean, so this is part of that. Why did you let that happen to me? I'm trying to forgive them, and they're telling me I'm not forgiving them. I'm going to go to hell. And so whenever she talked about the altar calls, that sometimes it's not handled in an altar call. And just because we still hurt after forgiving somebody, and we're trying to forgive them, and we're maybe even in a process of forgiving somebody for what they did to us, and it can be a big thing, it can be a little thing. We all have different capacities that we can even handle, right? That it doesn't mean that we're that something is wrong with us, or that we are going to go to hell. That was just a major thing for me. I got to walk that out. I got to walk out some healing of some of the abuses, and it wasn't just my dad. I was in some bad relationships.
yeah.
I've had other men abuse me,
Hmm.
and men that were supposed to protect me ended up doing the very thing that they we're not supposed to be doing. So well, if you forgive me, if you forgive, then you wouldn't bring it up. Well, that's not the case. Learning that, I think, is what just blew it wide open for me to
Yeah,
seek healing. Go through the pain. It hurts. It's going to hurt. Healing is not, it's not always miraculous. Sometimes it's a process. But I did not let go of my lifeline in this group. I held on to that because in there it's safe. It's a real
yeah.
safe place. And so I stay plugged in.
Hmm.
And going through that, being able to walk that pain out in mentorship has, I mean, it just, uh, not only does it, it does all the healing, we get the healing, we get the benefit of that, but so much closer to the Lord, and I can run to Him. So, um, we've got a real, we've got a real good structure in there where you might be going through something hard, you may be dealing with some trauma. We're going to help you. We can't go through it for you, but we're going to go through it with you, and that's what this group is about.
Yeah. I haven't met too many people, especially like Prophet Jennifer. And if you read her books, especially the last one, The Inner Healing and Deliverance, she talks about her testimony. I haven't met anyone who had the capacity for pain like that, but doesn't use it as an excuse not to fulfill the call and the purpose on your life, or to do it in a way, to make excuses to do it in a way that's, not right or hurt other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do love that because she teaches us process. She teaches us you have space for this pain to really know how to address it, what it is it's going to do, what to do as you're walking through it. She gives us, some steps that we can follow to help us through it, but also the encouragement to say, you know what, you can still do it, and you still got a call of God on your life, and you can do it on the level that God calls you to. That thing does not have to hold you back. That thing does not have to take you out. That thing doesn't have to wipe out the ministry. And I know for as people who may be watching and you're like, you just don't know my story, or I'm too far gone. There is space for you, and God has a call on your life, and He really wants to help you walk through that so you can walk into the fulfillment of the call that is on your life. And for those of you who may be in ministry, but you've been hiding this thing, you've been, keeping it behind the scenes, you haven't been talking about it because they haven't given you space. Tasha talked about it, saying that if they're saying, well, if you haven't forgiven, if you still have pain, you're not forgiven. And you're like wrestling with this because you just don't know what to do with these emotions and these things. You can learn the process and understand how to work through it and still be effective in a safe and healthy community. So that way, in the space that God called you to, in your church, in business, or wherever God called you to, you can do it whole, you can do it healthy, and you can, be successful in the Lord. So the mentorship has been amazing with that, with having community support around you, but also accountability to not let it cap you or to stay there. So, what advice would you give somebody who is navigating the pain to pull them into what God has called them to be?
Use that pain as a weapon. You know, we all have some hurts, and we all have some hangups, and um, get get plugged in, get some, obviously get some healing, but do not let the enemy use what he already tried to use. He already tried to use whatever hurt you is what he tried to use to destroy you. You're still here. You're not broken. You're resilient. You're a fighter. You're a warrior. You're called. And so get healed and use what he did. Turn that as a weapon on him. Use that pain as I mean, so like when we get a little bit mad, we clean our house, right? When you get a little bit hurt or you start feeling those things that he did, go clean house.
Yeah.
Go clean house. Remove him from the power and the authority that pain is holding in you, and step into what God has called you to. He's not going to ask you to do something that he can't take you to or through, or give you the provision for, or give you the healing for, the wisdom for, any of that stuff. But don't let the enemy, don't let him win that battle. Weaponize yourself, get weaponized, get healed, and do what God called you to do. That's the ultimate payback.
Yeah. Amen. I love it. Prophet Jennifer always says, make the devil pay. Like, make it pay. I love how you said clean house, like clean it, right? So I love it. Absolutely. And so why you've got this and you're on this journey and it looks like things have turned around. You're like in love with the Lord and you're moving forward. And it's turned from tragedy to triumph. Like it's good, but why are you deciding to come back for another year?
Wow. So, you know, this is a family. I'm rooted. So, first of all, if the Lord releases me, I got to go. I don't have that release yet. So, out of obedience, I'm back. There's not anything that we're taught that's not Bible based. Jennifer does it 100% by the Bible. She's not going to compromise that. She's not going to compromise her integrity or the Lord's heart for us even, and the community. I mean, Tommy, John, all these people that you see, doing these lives. We have, I think we're like the vets. I'm not an OG. You've been in there from the beginning. I'm going into my 4th year. That's hard to let go of when you have that community. It might be a good day and I'll throw a joke in there. That's okay. We'll all laugh and hee haw about that. But what if I need somebody to pray, for me? And I know that if I put something in that group, it stays in that group. I can trust that everything that goes in there stays right there. But I can also trust that if I ask for prayer, I'm going to get it. And maybe I have an answer to a question that I don't. Maybe I don't have that community where I'm at. Not everybody has a local church that they go to. A lot of us have, not us. I do thankfully have a physical location I can go to, but after COVID, not everybody has a physical church to go to. Some people go online. Mm-hmm. And so these online communities, they're wonderful. These online churches that, COVID just, I mean, that did so many good things for technology and for, getting the airways, back under control with, the word of God. But not everybody has a community to plug into, even in their church. What if you're in a little bitty rural town? That's a hard word. And you don't have this establishment. You don't have that community. You don't have a place to go to. That's why I'm coming back. Not that I don't have it where I am. I'm in a great church, but it's the community, it's the family, and it doesn't matter if it's a good day, bad day, or everything in between. It's just a place that we have to go to. It's established. It's, like I said, we're taught the word. Everything that Jennifer teaches is for our betterment. There might be some counsel in there. There might be some development in there, and it's everything else. So, I mean, I'm going to keep coming back until he tells me I can't.
Yeah, amen. It is. It's such a life-giving
Mm-hmm.
source. The community is life-giving and we just continue to grow. I love it. It is word-based. So we're continually to grow. You're just not in there just to be in there, but you're in there because you're really receiving. You're getting back, what you're putting in, whether you said you stay quiet, but you're receiving, and you can also give back, but we're growing, we're growing and we're pushed, we're challenged to continue to come up higher and to step out and to become, what God has called us to be. It's been dynamic, and the community has been vital to my healing journey. It really has. It has been a safe place. It has been a safe place. It has been a place of accountability. It has been a place that put a demand, on what God has placed in me, and it doesn't allow me to stay the same. If you choose to, you can, but that there's a demand for who you are, and just the encouragement, and just the model of Prophet Jennifer's life constantly let us know that it's possible. It's not just something that we hear. We're actually seeing her walk it out and living it and stepping into what all that she has walked through and still walking through, but leaning on the Lord, and it's just so amazing. I love it. It has been an extreme blessing and vital piece of my healing journey as well. So why would you why do you think someone should join this mentorship group? What advice would you give somebody? They're watching and they're like, I don't know. What do you think?
If you're thinking about it, just do it. So, if you're thinking about it, first of all, the enemy is not ever going to tell you to do something that is kingdom. That's heavenly. Anyway, he has a kingdom too, doesn't he? So if you're thinking about it, that's probably God's thoughts. I would assume. Uh, so I've had several people from church, um, ask me about this, and a few family members and some friends ask me about it. Does it interfere with anything? And what if I miss the live? Well, then you just get the replay. So I say do it. If you're wondering if it's for you, get in there. You're not gonna be misled. You're not gonna be lied to. You're gonna be trained properly. You're in really good hands. Jennifer is she's on the lives. It's her doing the teaching, and she answers our questions. She's in the Facebook group um, consistently. It's not in one week and out the other. Almost every day she's in there. She goes through our posts and comments, and you know um, she gives feedback on stuff that we might just post a thing that happened, or she'll give some feedback or maybe some insights. Answers questions. We have excellent admins in here. They're active in the page. They're overlooking everything. The it's just it's a solid group. So I say get in, get mentored, get taught, get in a place where, just like you said, there's an accountability in here that like you said, it's you don't get to just stay stuck unless you want to. But when we see somebody doing something, we get right behind them and we encourage them. Somebody may open it up a new business. We're promoting that business. We promote one another. It is a family, so it is absolutely worth plugging into.
Yeah, awesome. I love it this year. I am so excited about this year, probably more than anything. The topics are amazing. Next level intercession, supernatural finances, kingdom relationships are some of the topics that we are going to be discussing. Also, we have times that will accommodate multiple time zones. It
Mhm.
will start July 11th for the US and this side of the world, and our July 12th if you're in Australia, South Africa, those regions over there. But we literally have people from all over the world. It'll be streaming live. You can be able to catch it live in different time zones. And also, like Tasha said, that if you don't catch it live, the good thing is you can always watch the replay, and you have access to the replay the entire year. You can go back and watch them, which I do a lot, especially those really ones you got to really just chew on for a while. You can register. We're just about 3 weeks out now. I'm so excited. We have small groups. So when we talk about a topic, you can dive in deeper. It helps build relationship, help build community, but also help you to get understanding, because you can get the teaching and you might have questions. We can dig that out in the small groups. Just great things. We meet up, we support one
Mhm.
another. Just it's just an incredible community. And Prophet Jennifer is a dynamic teacher. Like she said, it's just it's really deep, but it's really practical. She knows how to break it down in a way that you can understand it, but it doesn't take away the depth and the richness of what it is. So, yes, we just definitely would love to have you guys with us this next season. There's the link at the bottom here. You can go to jennifereivaz.com. Also, in the comment section, you can see the links. You can click on those and get registered, but you do not want to miss it. And most importantly, like we were talking about, our topic was for today. The group is for everyone, but we were kind of highlighting pain, and trauma. You still have a call on your life. And God does not want that to go to waste. He doesn't want all the things that you have walked through to just be handed over to the enemy and be used as a wash. There is something that you are called to do. You still have a purpose, you still have a destiny, and you coming into this mentorship can help you get equipped, get the word, get taught, get trained, so you can go out and you can clean house, like Tasha said. But we just thank you guys for joining us. We pray that you enjoyed this. If you haven't registered yet, register. You don't want to miss
Yeah.
none of it. And share it with your friends and family, because we want them in too. Do not keep this to yourself. Don't be stingy. You know somebody that needs it. So we want you guys, everyone, to join us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Tasha. You are an incredible guest. And I love you. Thank you to Prophet Jennifer again for this time. And we'll see you guys in the next mentorship. Have a great evening.